Chapter 6 focuses on instances where the data may already exist in some useful format. Secondary data are facts and information collected and recorded by someone else prior to and for purposes other than the current project. The chief advantage of secondary data is availability, meaning they are almost always less expensive to obtain and faster to obtain than primary data. Often, researchers use secondary data when relevant primary data are impossible or impractical to obtain. The biggest disadvantage stems from the fact that secondary data were not collected within the researcher's needs in mind. In addition, the researcher may not know the quality of the data in terms of reliability and validity. One way to do this is to cross-check the data using a different source. Of course, that isn't always possible. Secondary data plays a role in many commonly occurring marketing research questions. There are three general categories of research objectives. The data can be used to find facts. The data can be used to build models. And the marketers want to mine data for marketing purposes. A typical fact-finding study might seek to uncover all available information about consumption patterns for a particular product category, or to identify business trends that affect an industry. Model building is more complicated and involves specifying relationship between two or more variables. Common objectives include estimating market potential, forecasting sales, and selecting sites. Data mining allows marketers to find hidden gems in the volumes of secondary data. More and more, consumers leave their purchase records and conversations about products and brands behind online and provide a great deal of valuable secondary data useful in data mining and even in database marketing effort. It is a broad term that applies to many different forms of analysis. Secondary data can be generated internally and obtained externally. Internal data are data that originate in the organization and represent events recorded by or generated by the organization. Examples of internal data or proprietary data are sales invoices, salespeople's call reports, customer complaints, product returns, etc. Those are the data sources generated in the organization. External data are generated or recorded by another entity. Governments, trade organizations, media outlets, and syndicated data sources are all recording information and make it available for use by others. Sometimes the data are available free, but other times a fee or subscription must be paid to use the data. Here lists some examples of secondary commercial data source. This chapter provides an exhibit with some key sources of secondary data for your reference.